The third part of our program is counseling. So, unlike other schools that have counselors, we have a social worker. He's named Vince. And basically, he's here because everyone has issues. I had to use Darth Vader just because Vince and I are both huge Star Wars fans, so I had to try and work it in somehow. Vince is here to basically help students with social emotional issues, family, transition out of stretch, which we're going to come back to, employment, community resources, school intervention, which basically means discipline, and peer relations, problems with peer relations, how to get along with people better. We are a very small school, so we all have to coincide together. The fourth aspect is comfort. Uh, so we operate on a first name basis as it helps break the pattern of this sort of student versus teacher or us versus them. And it helps us build a more personal, trusting relationship with our students. Um, Part of the problem with some of our students is they don't come from the best homes. Some of the homes don't have enough money to provide everything they need. And I always like to ask, if you're hungry, cold, or soaking wet, how focused are you within class? Are you going to be focused on your work, or are you going to be focused on when you're going to eat next, or um, maybe how are you going to get a jacket to keep you dry when it's pouring with rain? So every morning we put out toast and condiments. This is all free. We also get food provided from donators such as Starbucks and Tim Hortons. So we're not putting out um, really cheap food for these kids. We actually have some really good food. I have snuck some every once in a while, I'm not going to lie, but they have toast, peanut butter, jam, uh, muffins, scones, all that kind of stuff. So we try and get them fed in the morning. We know that breakfast is important. Some of these kids are coming in, they haven't eaten. They don't have the money to go out and stop on the way, so we try and provide them with some food in the morning to get them going. We set up the Station Stretch thrift store. As a staff, we collect donations for new and used clothing. A few of us go out and we try and contact stores, distributors, things like that to try and get as much new clothing as we can. It's kind of hard with donation rules and tax receipts and things like that. But we do what we can. We get jackets, shoes, boots, pants, shirts, hoodies, bags, backpacks, hats, toques, gloves. We've had snowboard boots, all that kind of stuff. And we allow students to come and grab stuff for themselves, grab stuff for their family. Everything is free. So, um, in a picture, that's like one of our rooms. We have a couple rooms. Then this is probably about a quarter of the stuff that we have. So, and obviously it keeps getting restocked and restocked and restocked. On Wednesdays, a subsidized hot lunch is provided for the cost of a loonie. We call it a loonie lunch. Menus often include pasta, spaghetti, hot dogs. Like the basic sort of easy foods to make. Um, this stuff is all prepared by Vince, Leanne, John, Shalane. Everybody sort of puts in a little bit to try and feed these kids a hot lunch once a week, basically for a buck. They're getting about $5, $6, $7 worth of food. It's always really good. And then every Christmas we provide a free Christmas banquet. So on the last day of classes, right before Christmas, we um, bake a bunch of lasagna and have salad and bring in cookies and things like that. And we have a massive banquet for them, so we actually have sort of like a mini Christmas. Um, we offer a number of extracurricular activities. John and Leanne and Vince will take the kids weightlifting after school. We can often set up the ping pong table during lunch and after school. Once a week on Wednesdays, they offer ice hockey with the roving leaders, and John normally tags along and takes the kids. And it didn't happen this year, but normally there's a snowboarding trip that is offered through the Fridge Community Center in Richmond, and we try and get as many kids to go on that as possible. So what makes a student successful at Stretch? Basically, it's the four things that we just discussed. So policy, structure, counseling, and comfort. However, there's one more thing that makes a student successful here, and that's the feeling of accomplishment. So by designing the program around completing work each week and never falling behind, students constantly feel like they're moving forward. This gives students the confidence to enter into transition programs without the fear of failure. So they felt success within a school program, and now when they move back into another school program, they know and have the tools to be successful within that program. Hopefully, we have taught them that being on time with their work, attending classes, being on time to classes, these are all must have things to be successful within school. So where do students go when they graduate from Stretch? Well, I said we were going to come back to transition. As I said before, transition is mostly done by Vince and Mark. There's a number of options for students once they have finished their time at Stretch. All the teachers sort of get together and they figure out what will be best for each student. We also ask the students where they would like to go. We try to come up with a blend of their personal preference and what we know to be the most successful for the type of student that they are. So their options include integrated academics, which is at McNair High School, combined studies at Boyd. Both integrated academics and combined studies are semestered programs. So if a student of ours graduates from Stretch in February, they can still get into these programs. These programs are basically kind of like taking Stretch and moving them into a large high school. So your core academic classes are all taken as a group, and your electives are taken outside of that group. It allows you to know the teacher a little bit better. You're in a smaller group, you know all the students, and it allows you to be a little bit more successful. It's kind of like a stepping stone from Stretch into a large high school without having to take on too many teachers and too many classes all at once. Another fantastic option is Richmond's apprenticeship programs. These are great programs. Richmond offers these programs sometimes starting in grade 10 depending on the program, mostly grade 11 and grade 12. If an apprenticeship program is not offered out of one of the high schools but is offered through Kwantlen College, the school district will pay tuition for the student to go to whichever Kwantlen campus they need to go for the apprenticeship program they're looking for either 1 year if it starts in grade 11 or 2 years if it starts in grade 12. And this sort of puts Richmond students in apprenticeship programs ahead by a year or two over people who would be entering those apprenticeship programs after graduation. So they can actually be a year or two into their apprenticeship programs when they graduate. And they do still graduate with a dogwood, so it's not actually a bad option for a lot of kids. Pre-employment, which is done through Richmond High. Some kids we just tell them to go and work for a little while. We do have kids that are still very adverse to school when they come out, or they're not exactly sure what they want to do, so we tell them to go work. It's often a very good option. Kids working at minimum wage find out really quick that the jobs that they're doing can be very menial, very boring. They're not making as much money as they thought they would be making, and realize very fast how valuable education can be in making yourself rare and skilled so that people want to hire you and pay you more due to your rarity and due to your skills. The last option is another good option for some kids, and that's putting them straight back into the regular stream. This is especially good for kids who have fallen behind whether it's due to illness or death in the family. Students who were doing well in the regular stream fell behind because of something they couldn't control and had caught back up, and now we can get them back into the regular stream. So that's basically our program. All this information is on the website in one form or another. I would also say that one of the best ways to learn about our program is actually through past kids and some of their parents. So on the website, if you look on the left hand side, is a link to a bunch of testimonial letters that past kids and past parents of our kids have written, and often those are the best way to sort of gauge what our program is like and whether these kids buy into our program or not. So if you have any questions about our program, please feel free to contact the school. The contact information is right on the website. Once again, that is the Station Stretch Alternative Program. If it looks like it might be right for your kid, your student, please contact us and we will see if we can set up an interview. Thank you.